This is Frankfurt, a city in Germany that has been home to some of Europe's most impressive buildings and towering skyscrapers since the 1970s, earning the nickname Mainhattan. You might find this unbelievable, but out of the top 20 tallest buildings in Germany, 18 are located in Frankfurt. Not only that, but by the end of 2024, Frankfurt will be adding 4 new skyscrapers to its impressive portfolio of buildings as part of the ambitious Frankfurt megaproject, a staggering $1.1 billion development that is poised to revolutionize the quality of life in Germany's financial capital. Spanning 16,000 square meters, nothing like this project has been attempted before in Germany. So join us in this video as we dive headfirst into this incredible megaproject, from the cutting-edge technology used in its construction to why Frankfurt is building it in the first place. Welcome back to PST Megaprojects. Frankfurt is Germany's global financial hub and is the site of many global and European corporate headquarters. So it shouldn't be too surprising that it has many skyscrapers. In fact, 95% of all of Germany's skyscrapers are located in the city, and it was also home to Europe's tallest building, the Commerzbank Tower, for a really long time before it was surpassed by the Triumph Palace in the Russian capital Moscow, which was completed in 2006. If you're wondering why the majority of Germany's skyscrapers are concentrated in Frankfurt, then you should know that there are a couple of reasons why Frankfurt has so many skyscrapers. And the main one is that the city is surrounded by a 70-kilometer green belt that limits real estate development to an area roughly half the size of Venice, and in turn, prevents urban sprawl, making skyscrapers the only option for development, as Frankfurt could only build up. Not only that, but there are also strict regulations regarding airport flight paths, which limits development to specific areas of the city. Additionally, since Frankfurt was very badly damaged during the Second World War, it has more space for new development than other cities. There's also the fact that the city's position as Germany's global financial hub has drawn in many foreigners for business, as around 50% of Frankfurt's population doesn't have a German passport. Now, Frankfurt is adding more to its array of skyscrapers. Currently, there are more than 50 high-rises, either being built or planned in Frankfurt, including the 288-meter Millennium Tower, which is set to be Germany's new tallest building and will start construction in 2025. Part of those 50 high-rises is a mega project called Frankfurt, which is a development consisting of, you guessed it, 4 skyscrapers that will completely transform the city's skyline. They are designed by UN Studio, a Dutch architectural practice famous for impressive projects like the Mercedes-Benz Museum in Germany and Raffles City Hangzhou in China. The 4 towers will differ in terms of their height and purpose, and are meant to act as a complete neighborhood within themselves once completed by the end of 2024 or in 2025. For instance, the first tower, Tower 1, will rise to 233 meters and will include mainly offices. Meanwhile, Tower 2 will be 173 meters tall and contain serviced apartments. Moving on to Tower 3, which will be 120 meters tall and feature 600 flats with recessed balconies, as well as a hotel. Finally, Tower 4 will reach 100 meters, and it will also offer office space. Technically, only Tower 1 and Tower 2 will actually be considered skyscrapers, as they exceed the Council on Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat's definition threshold of 150 meters, while Tower 3 and Tower 4 don't. Regardless, the Frankfurt project will also include new public spaces, shops, restaurants, and all the things you might expect when you think of a complete real estate development. The towers dramatically bend away from each other and nearby buildings, increasing the distance between each structure. And this unique design isn't just for aesthetic purposes, as it maximizes the amount of natural light that each tower gets, as well as the views from each floor. This project will bring a lot of benefits to Frankfurt, as it will connect the city center with the banking district and create a new mixed-use neighborhood at the same time. But this comes at the staggering price tag of $1.1 billion. And a bunch of construction challenges. For starters, the 4 towers are being constructed using different techniques because the Frankfurt project is a mixed-use development, meaning that each tower needs extremely different floor plates. Not only that, but the columns are in different places in each tower, and the extent of glazing, which is basically installing glass in the buildings, varies. Not only that, but the drainage pipe routes that are cast into the concrete floor. Slabs are all different too, as there are a lot more bathrooms in the hotel than the apartments and the office buildings. But the 4 towers' concrete cores are the most major difference between them. In general, cores set the pace of work on a skyscraper construction site because skyscrapers can't stand up without them. To put it simply, once the core is up to a certain floor level, the rest of that floor can be built around it. Frankfurt is building 4 cores at once. And to get them up as quickly as possible, the engineers behind the project are using systems from the German construction company Perry, a supplier of formwork and scaffolding systems. The systems being used in this project were tailor-made for each tower. They include the ACS self-climbing system and the RCS Max. The ACS system is being used to build the cores, while the RCS system is being used to build protective shields on top of the towers. These self-climbing units include wall formwork and platforms that are moved up from floor to floor by integrated hydraulics and create a safe environment for those working on the cores. Additionally, they are extremely efficient because they have the ability to self-climb the towers as they rise, and this reduces the amount of time that needs to be scheduled with the project's cranes, which is very important because these machines are always in high demand. As each story of a core is completed, the load of the formwork system from the upper working brackets is transferred to the lower climbing brackets. Then, hydraulic jacks push the entire system up to the next level, and the red working brackets are secured to embedded anchors in the next pour, and the load of the system is transferred back onto the red brackets. After that, the yellow climbing brackets are released, and the hydraulic jacks bring the lower deck up to join the rest of the core system. This sequence is repeated until the very top of the tower is reached, and the RCS Max works in a similar way, but with a rail climbing technique. Perry's systems are used all around the world for building thousands of skyscrapers, and they are going to be needed even more as Frankfurt continues its construction drive. But why is Frankfurt going all in for construction now? Many think that Frankfurt's construction drive is partly attributed to Brexit. In fact, in 2017, following Brexit, various major construction projects were announced in Frankfurt, including projects from famous architecture firms like the Bjarke Ingels Group and Ole Scheren. And of course, UN Studio and the Frankfurt megaproject. That was seen as Frankfurt's attempt to lure major banks and financial institutions away from the United Kingdom's capital, London, as well as businesses who were looking to establish headquarters in a city that had a physical foothold in the European Union. As you'd expect, this caused the city's real estate market to skyrocket, with the prices of luxury apartments jumping 25% in a single year, and 20 skyscrapers were announced to be built within 5 years. But in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic came along and slowed Frankfurt's construction boom. Despite this, some 40 major companies relocated to the German city after Brexit, and the city hopes that its new developments will increase that number. We mentioned earlier that the Frankfurt project is set to be completed sometime in 2024 or 2025, but the full number of 50 skyscrapers that will be added to the city is expected to be completed over the next decade. This means that the current Frankfurt skyline will be completely unrecognizable by 2030, as it will become something bigger and more modern, establishing Frankfurt as Europe's skyscraper capital. Well, that is everything for now. What do you think? Will you visit Frankfurt once it's completed? Please let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't, please subscribe and leave a like for this video. Your support helps us continue our work. Thanks again for your support, and I will see you in the next one.